Best finance apps for gig workers. What if I told you the difference between a struggling gig worker and one building actual wealth is just 3 apps on their phone? Meet the Uber driver who went from living paycheck to paycheck to investing $500 every month. This is Marcus. 2 years ago, he was working a soul-crushing 9 to 5 and driving for Uber on weekends to make ends meet. Fast forward to today, and he's a full-time gig worker who's not just surviving, he's thriving, building wealth, and actually enjoying the freedom he always wanted. But here's the thing. Marcus almost gave up on gig work entirely, not because he wasn't making money, but because he was losing it to disorganization, missed deductions, and tax nightmares that made him question everything. So what changed? 3 simple apps that transformed his entire financial game. Let's dive into his story. Problem number 1: the tax disaster. Marcus's first year as a full-time gig worker was a financial wake-up call. He was making good money, about $4,000 a month between Uber and food delivery apps. He felt successful until tax season hit. Turns out, Marcus had been treating his gig income like regular employee wages. No quarterly payments, no mileage tracking, no expense documentation. When April came around, he owed the IRS $11,000, money he didn't have because he'd been spending like it was all his to keep. He was drowning in panic, sleeping 2 hours a night, and seriously considering going back to a regular job just to avoid this nightmare again. The solution: Stride Tax. That's when Marcus discovered Stride Tax, a free app designed specifically for gig workers. This app became his financial lifeline. Here's what it did for him. Automatic mileage tracking using GPS, so every single trip counted toward his deductions. Expense categorization that made tracking gas, car washes, and phone bills effortless. Quarterly tax estimates that showed him exactly how much to set aside each month. The result? In his second year, Marcus had every deduction documented, saved 25% of his income for taxes automatically, and actually got a small refund. No more surprises. No more panic attacks at midnight. Problem number 2: the profit illusion. But Marcus still had another problem. He was busy, driving 50 hours a week, accepting every ride request, feeling productive. But when he actually looked at his bank account, something didn't add up. He was making money, but not keeping it. Between gas, car maintenance, insurance, and all those quick coffee stops between rides, his actual profit was a mystery. He felt like he was working harder than ever, but somehow always broke. The worst part: Marcus had no idea which rides were actually worth his time. Was driving to the airport at 5 a.m. more profitable than weekend nights downtown? He was just guessing. The solution: Gridwise. Enter Gridwise, the app that finally gave Marcus clarity on his actual earnings. This app connected directly to his rideshare accounts and started tracking the metrics that actually mattered. Real-time earnings per hour, not just total earnings. Gas costs calculated against income for each shift. Suggestions for high-demand times and locations based on local events. Marcus started using Gridwise's data to work smarter, not harder. He discovered that Friday lunches near the business district earned him $32 per hour, while late-night weekend rides only netted $23 after expenses. He started declining low-value rides without guilt. Within 3 months, Marcus was working 5 fewer hours per week, but earning 15% more in actual profit. He finally understood his business. Problem number 3: the wealth-building gap. Now Marcus was making money and keeping it, but he hit another realization. His friends with regular jobs had 401ks, employer matches, automatic retirement savings. As a gig worker, he had nothing. He wanted to build wealth, but every time he looked into investing, it felt complicated and intimidating. How much should he invest? Where should it go? What if he needed that money for a slow week? Marcus was stuck in the cycle of just surviving, never building for the future. The solution: Acorns or betterment. Marcus found Acorns, an app that made investing ridiculously simple for someone with irregular income. The game changer features roundups that automatically invested his spare change from every transaction. Flexible, recurring investments he could adjust weekly based on his earnings. Retirement account options designed for self-employed workers. Simple portfolio management that didn't require him to become a financial expert. Marcus started small, investing just $50 a week from his Stride savings. The app did the rest, diversifying his portfolio, reinvesting dividends, and growing his wealth on autopilot. Today, 18 months later, Marcus has over $4,000 in his investment account. It's not life-changing money yet, but it's something he never had before: a future. Part 3. Take action. So here's where Marcus is now. He's using Stride to stay on top of his taxes and maximize deductions. Gridwise shows him exactly where his profit is coming from. And Acorns is quietly building his wealth in the background. 3 apps. A complete financial transformation. The best part: Marcus isn't special. He's just a regular guy who figured out that gig work isn't just about driving. It's about running a real business. And like any business, you need the right tools. If you're in the gig economy and feeling overwhelmed by the financial side, start with these 3 apps. Your future self will thank you. And speaking of the right tools, tomorrow at 8 a.m. EST, we're breaking down the ultimate spending tracker showdown. Which app actually wins for beginners trying to take control of their money? You won't want to miss it. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you catch it. See you tomorrow at 8 a.m. EST.